In the wild rush of E3, it's easy to miss some of the show's hidden gems. But look past the AAA sequels and blustering first-party releases and you'll find some surprises trapped like coins beneath the cushions. And in this video, we'll be rounding up 9 of those titles that may have escaped your attention during the busiest week in the gaming calendar. Ready your Steam wish lists and get ready to tell all your friends that you already knew about these games. Here are 9 amazing upcoming indies you may have missed at E3. If Overcooked left you hungry for even more chaotic co-op kitchen antics, here's some good news. One of the biggest reveals of E3 was the surprise sequel announced during Nintendo Direct. Thankfully coming to all platforms and not just the Switch, Overcooked II is back with more chefs, more ridiculous stages including minecart levels and crashing hot air balloons, and, most importantly, online multiplayer. The only downside of the original was the necessity of having some actual physical friends on the sofa with you, so yay for not having to share personal space with an actual human this time around. Everything in Overcooked 2 is bigger, brighter and even more ridiculous. You can now throw food across gaps, which is helpful given that some levels involve floating down rivers or trying to make culinary masterpieces across magically disappearing bridges and islands. Going hands-on with Overcooked 2 proved it's serving up more of the delicious chaos we know and love, and it's being plated up as we speak. You've got just enough time to grab a quick burger though. Overcooked 2 comes out on August the 7th. If Ooblets didn't look cute enough already, how about this adorable dance-off? You go Gully Spot, it's your birthday. If you only understood every second word we just said and haven't heard of this absurdly squishy offering from two-person team Glumberland, it's time you got acquainted. Make a delicious soup of your favourite elements from Pokemon, Harvest Moon and Animal Crossing, sorry, I'm still thinking about Overcooked 2, and you get something that looks a lot like Ooblets. In this beautifully bright world, you can harvest and grow creatures, take them on adventures, build a house, or just go and make new friends. Ooblets themselves are grown from seeds, because of course they are, and you can pit them against one another to level up. There was previously a more traditional battle system in place, but the team revealed at E3 that they have switched this out for actual dance-offs, which seems more apt somehow. There's even an in-depth system, which means once your Ooblet's ego runs out, they scuttle off home. The team is hoping to release by the end of the year on PC and Xbox One, but Ooblets looks like it's definitely worth waiting a few extra months for. There's no shortage of achingly beautiful indie games on offer, but even then, Indivisible stands out as a visually engaging treat. It comes from Skullgirls developer Lab Zero, and the crisp artistic heritage is apparent in every hand-drawn frame. Mechanically, it's a throwback to revered square JRPG Valkyrie Profile, part 2D platformer filled with puzzles, part turn-based combat and tactics game. You explore the game world like a normal platformer to begin with, and when combat begins, a number of teammates join hero Ajna to help out. It's a case of timing your attacks perfectly to juggle, stun and ultimately defeat the game's array of horrible monsters. And as you'd expect from the Skullgirls team, there's a huge selection of crisp, characterful party members to choose from, as well as a huge map and some handsomely varied locations. You can wishlist it on Steam now before the full game comes out in 2019. Underworld Ascendant is as close as we'll ever get to the true sequel to Ultimate Underworld, the classic first-person RPG produced by Warren Spector way back in 1992. This isn't just a reheated version of a beloved game though, it's a smart, emergent RPG cast in the same mould as Arcane's Prey reboot. So it might look like a classic Orcs and Swords adventure, but Underworld Ascendant encourages and rewards the same kind of creative thinking you see in pen and paper RPGs. Don't want to dodge the wooden traps in front of you? Try burning them. Don't feel like sword fighting skeletons? Just drop boxes on them instead. And this is just the tip of the adventurous iceberg. There are hundreds, perhaps thousands of ways to manipulate the world of Ascendant, from jamming mechanisms to sticking things to walls with glue. And if you just want to waddle through the world chopping stuff up with your sword, well, you can do that too. Underworld Ascendant is set for release in September 2018.
Assuming you'll survive.
If you've ever wondered what The Legend of Zelda would look like with a charming fox instead of Link, then Tunic would very much like to show you. Yet another arrestingly pretty indie title with more character than a parade at Disney World, Tunic sets you on an isometric adventure in an ancient world. The one-man dev team is being a little coy about what's going on, but expect hordes of treasure to find, moves to learn, and pictographs teaching the history of an ancient civilization. Treasure chests will also reveal pages of the in-game manual that will teach you tricks to use against more challenging enemies. And combat is absolutely key here. Don't be fooled, Tunic might look sweet, but you're going to have to be fast with perfectly timed swings of the sword and juggle ranged weapons to survive against a terrifying variety of enemies. The game will be out sometime in 2019. Sure, you could spend your VR time exploding zombie noggins or dragon shouting your way across Skyrim, but a raft of virtual reality games are exploring some other, slightly more relaxing experiences. Arcas Path is one of those. There's no running or gunning here, in fact, you don't even have a controller or mouse in your hands, and that's all part of the peaceful charm. Using the head tracking tech in your respective VR headset, it works on all of them. Arcas Path puts you in control of a stylised sphere and sends you rolling through a beautiful, colourful world. It starts off calm like a super chilled ape escape, but it doesn't take long before you're barrelling across bridges with no sides and gingerly making your way past dangerous corners. Take it easy though, and everything about Arcas Path is relaxing. You'll find yourself appreciating every note of the music from Ninja Tone and slowing down your breathing as you make tiny motions to keep control. Those on the hunt for trickier puzzles won't be disappointed either, as there's a stack of challenge maps on the way to make things significantly more stressful. Yes, it does look a little bit like XCOM, but that's a good thing, because in a single glance you know plenty of important things about Phantom Doctrine. You know that it's a tactical turn-based strategy game. You know that movement and positioning are paramount, and you know that every wrong decision will be ruthlessly, viciously punished. But it's the differences here that make it interesting. It's set during the Cold War, bringing a slice of brutalist reality to the story. And your actions are far more complex than simply moving, shooting, and random chances to hit. It's intensely, deliberately complicated in a way that sets it far apart from the simpler games on offer at E3. And as well as a heavy emphasis on infiltration, combat is based on how alerted enemies are to your presence. Make a hash of operations and your chances to survive plummet. If you thought fighting technologically advanced aliens was challenging, try testing your skills against the cerebral, uncompromising AI in Phantom Doctrine. The game is set for release this summer. Semblance has a bold pitch. It's the first true platform game ever made. This is because all other games you think are platformers should, linguistically speaking, be called runners and jumpers, in the same way that you shoot in shooters and fight in fighters. Semblance, by contrast, has you manipulating squidgy platforms in order to solve the game's wonderfully infuriating puzzles, as you physically change the game world to get where you want to go. It's a smart twist on one of gaming's oldest genres, and one that encourages fresh kinds of lateral thinking. In the short time we played, Semblance threw a wobbling pile of challenging ideas at our feet, which bodes very well for the final release. And perhaps more than this, smashing those platforms into shape feels like revenge for a lifetime of missed jumps. Semblance is set for release later this year. Yes, we know it's lazy to describe a game as a combination of things you're already familiar with, but firstly, it's the only way to do Black Future 88 justice, and secondly, it's almost the end of this list feature and we're really rather tired. So here goes. Black Future 88 is like Blade Runner meets The Raid meets Jason Statham's Crank. That means that it looks amazing, is frenetically violent, and takes place in an evolving tower that will kill you if you don't get out in 18 minutes. And yes, we did mean evolving, not revolving. The enemies and layouts are in constant flux, and anything you don't use can be collected by the tower to use against you. Throw in some shockingly imaginative weapons, including a gun that switches your position with anything you shoot, and Black Future 88 could be the sleeper indie hit of 2018. So those are our top picks for the charming indie delights of E3 2018. Did you see anything wonderful we missed out on? And what are you most excited to play? Let us know in the comments below, drop us a like if you'll be adding any of these to your wish list, and don't forget to subscribe to Logitech G for more videos just like this one.